Hey everybody, this is Krov Malenkov, and I'm here to bring you a new For Honor video, and it's real. This is just so real right now, guys. We officially have a new faction, the Wulin, 4 official new characters to be set up in October of this year, and I am just dumbfounded. I'll be honest, I was a part of the boat that said there's not going to be a new faction, but I was proven wrong. But you know what? That's fine, because in being proven wrong, I was given this greatness to behold. So, with that being said, let me just get straight into this. Basically, what I want to do for this is just give an overview of these characters, look at their historical, relevance, see if they actually have some historical traits to them, if they're actually based off of real Chinese warriors, or if they are just machinations of Ubisoft, just like, Big Boy Shigoki. So, let's get into this. So, first word we have is the Tiandi, which, from what I've gathered in Chinese, either means heavenly emperor or heavenly deity. And these guys are going to be our Vanguard heroes. And it says here within Ubisoft that the Vanguard class Tiandi wield large Chinese broadswords to chain combos and finishers together while remaining highly elusive and mobile. So we're going to assume that this guy's going to be a little swift on his feet, a little bit more mobile than perhaps maybe some of our current Vanguards. Maybe a close second to our Kensei, but that's to be seen. Now the thing is that the Chinese broadsword that they described, that's called a Dao, and we've seen it first in the cinematic trailer sneak peek that we got about a few weeks back before the E3 reveal. And when I saw the sword myself, I knew it was a Dao. So I'm happy to have that confirmed for myself. But so the Tiandi here are going to be our Vanguard hero, and the armor style variant and how they look, they seem to replicate more of Ming warriors. Now the Ming dynasty was circa around 1200 to 1400 CE, and now these guys were around the same time as knights, and they were kind of around right after the Vikings, but their style, their armor, the sword that they use, especially the sword that they use, the Dao, it heavily leads to Ming Dynasty kind of style. But was there a Ming warrior that reflects the Tiandi? And it's a yes and no kind of deal, because there was no real warrior caste system within China, because, well, they never really made one. It wasn't really that important, but soldiers would fight, they would train, they would learn and study, but there was no like a samurai kind of deal or a knight kind of system. But other than that, the Tiandi actually represents a Ming soldier, a Ming warrior, very, very carefully, very closely too. The next character we have here is the Zhang Jun, and this guy is going to be our heavy, and I kind of figured he was going to be heavy. I mean, look, I don't want to stereotype, but he was a big guy. He's got a big weapon. I only pointed my finger and said, that's going to be the heavy, and ding, 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 I got it. So, Ubisoft says, a heavy hero, Guan Yu utilizes the formidable reclining moon blade. He fights using strong slashing movements and momentum to keep his heavy blade moving. The result is a hero with high survivability, a strong offensive attack that specializes in maneuvers meant to counter multiple foes at once. Now, the Moonblade, formidable reclining Moonblade. This is actually called the Guan Dao, or Guan Sword. And this is actually supposedly made by a man named Guan Yu, who was an actual person that apparently turned divine. Take Talos, if you will. If any of you have played Elder Scrolls, how Talos, Dragonborn, conquered all of Tamriel and became a god, and became one of the divines to create the 9 divines. Essentially, this is what this guy did. He was so good in his military expertise, he was so amazing with what he did, that he ended up becoming a god, and he's still revered today. But the point is, the Zhang Jun, being based off of that style, has some historical relevance to it, but again, there was no real warrior or warrior class that represents him. So it's a 50-50 kind of deal with that. The next one we have is the assassin class, the Nuxia, or Nuxia, or I don't really know how to pronounce it 100%, but she, as it says, when used in dance, her hook swords were as beautiful as they were deadly. When used in battle, they allow her to isolate and control opponents, making her a formidable one-on-one fighter. As an assassin, she is at her best when utilizing fast counterattacks at short range, but with the ability to link her hook swords together, she can be deadly from long range as well. Now, here's the deal with this. I found it amazing that they gave a warrior the hook blades, or the Shaolin hook swords. And it's kind of even more interesting that there's a Shaolin warrior in the game that they're adding, and I'll get to him in a second, but they gave her hook swords. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just interesting to see. Now, the hook swords were mainly used for defensive purposes by Shaolin warriors, or Shaolin monks. They used these swords just to defend themselves in the event they were being attacked by someone who was wielding a weapon. Now, the idea of the hook swords is that they would use the hook to, pin down weapons or take them out of the fight altogether by throwing them out, or, taking the weapon out of the person's hand and throwing them about. And the swords themselves were used alongside one another. And the cool thing about it is that the top parts would hook together. They'd hook the swords together, and with their motion and with the martial arts that they use to train with these weapons, would actually use these as in swing with these and do long-range hits out of nowhere, surprising the enemy. And the shock and awe kind of tactic of it is amazing. But what they're doing with it, what this woman is doing with it, the Nuxia, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how she's going to use this weapon to fight with. But were there ever warriors that use this in frontal combat? No. That's a big 10-4. No, good buddy. So, historical relevance on that is meh, but it's just interesting to see that they actually use this weapon. Now, moving on to the Shaolin, my new main. I can tell you that right now, my new main, the Shaolin. Now, Ubisoft says right here that a mobile counter-attacking hybrid, the Shaolin uses his versatile staff to quickly switch between offense and defense to take advantage of any situation. So pretty much just like how any hybrid class would act, just being able to be versatile in any kind of style and, way that they can. So this is definitely going to be interesting because of the sole fact of the staff. It's a very neglected weapon and very underestimated. Many people don't assume the staff to actually be, deadly or, be useful in any manner. But in the right hands, the staff can be the most deadliest thing ever faced on the battlefield. So, I just want to say this right now that there are Shaolin monks, yes, and this is what Shaolin is, namely based off of, and this is where he gets his name, Shaolin. So, this one definitely has some historical relevance. Not only that, the whole staff idea. Shaolin monks do use staffs for practicing and for, martial arts training. And it's very, very, very true that they would do this. The only thing is that, in a war kind of setting, a Shaolin monk wouldn't really want to go to war, but it's not as if there hasn't been warrior monks before. And throughout history, there have been many monks who have either switched to being peaceful, to being, offensive, or just to defend their own homes. And, that's what they train in martial arts for, not only for self-meditation and balance and all that, but also to protect themselves and to protect those that they care about. So, it's a 50-50 thing for this one as well. And with that, there ends the video. What do you guys think about these new heroes? What do you guys think about the faction? Do you guys think that we needed a new faction, or do you think that these warriors could have been put in with the samurai faction? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see some more future content, and, keep your eyes out on the channel, because with new Chinese heroes, we're definitely going to be covering over some Chinese history if you guys are interested in seeing that. So, go ahead and subscribe and get notified by hitting that bell button if you guys want to see it. And as always, guys, play on.